So I actually have a very ambitious agenda, and I just put here the topics that we're going to talk about today. Of course, this is just a guidance of aspects that of suicide, and we have the resource and the source that any of you can go and search and study. Yeah. What we're going to talk here is only, I would say it's a drop, right, in the ocean of help and information there, but we hope that we bring the teachings of Spiritism and can help anyone there. It's going through this right now, or for loved ones that have someone going through, for the loved ones that lost someone for suicide. So we will try to really talk a little bit about all this tonight. Okay, just for understanding the word suicide, it's from the Latin that sui, oneself, and sidu, killing. It's the act of killing himself. And this is, I found this definition here. It's suicide is the act or instance of take one's own life voluntarily and intentionally. And pay attention to those words, voluntarily and intentionally, right? So that's to not get confused with other situations in life. I found on the book of the Jussara Korngold, she wrote the book about those left behind, a great book, and I can post, I have all the information on the end of this presentation if you guys want to read. From the American Association of Suicide, those kind of sad numbers, but statistics help us to understand an issue and to try to create programs or try to solve that problem in the best way, right? We can. And this data, it's from 2019, and the American Association of Suicidology, they gathered this data from the National Center of Health Statistics. They don't have the data for 2020. It was a difficult year. We can't even imagine how difficult it would be to read those numbers. So here, like, it's the 10 leading cause of death in the US. It's the second cause of death in the young people, 15, 24-year-old in the US. For the 15, 20-year-olds, remember that there's a fact that young people don't have many diseases that caused by the age. So it's also, that's why the second cause of the death. Well, the average one person every 11 minutes and 3.6 male by every female and 3 female attempts for every male. So it is a very, very serious problem that we have in our society. And we need to be aware of that. Suicide is a treatable mental disorder, and this is really important, right? Because people that going through this problem should seek, right, like a help, right, from the doctors and any other resources that we have out there. So I found it's also important to understand what is mental health, and I found this definition from the mental health of God. In fact, was really important because, yes, includes our emotional, psychological, and social being, and affects how we think, we feel, and act, and also helps us to handle stress, how we interact with others, make choices. And it is important during our whole life, right? And it is a health issue. And if there should, we should treat that, right? Okay, so what is suicide? What does Spiritism say about suicide? On the Spiritist book, the question 945, there is this question: do people have the right to take their own life? No, only God has the right. Those who voluntarily commit suicide commit a transgression against that law, the law of life, right? So it's very clear. And there is many questions on this chapter there in Spiritism that explain more about different situations in suicide. So suicide as a tendency from previous lives. This is very important, especially for us Spiritists, because as we understand reincarnation, and we already know that what we are today, it's the summary, like the sum of our previous existence. So it is like a Jusara Corner definition of psychotic behavior. And her book and explain that we bring tendencies, of course, from previous life, and this self-destructive mental state. It's impregnated, right, in our soul, in our psyche, in our mind. As a spirit, we bring this tendency. We bring good things, but we bring also those vices and those destructive and psychotic behavior from other lives. And it is very important for us to know ourselves and watch when we're going through problems. And it's okay to be sad for it's okay to be sad when we're going through difficult things, but when we can't overcome our challenges, and often we want to escape through suicide, we need to pay attention and seek help. And also we need to look at the people around us, especially like parents, to pay attention to their kids, because we can see tendencies there. And as early it can be educated and treated and guided. The spirit can maybe in that life I've overcome that difficult behavior and succeed in that incarnation, right? We'll talk about materialism, because in many of the books that I read, the materialism is always there as this obstacle to the the human being to overcome challenges and think about there is something bigger than all this matter that we see, right? And this was actually very interesting part that it's also in the book of Shasara, that it's some, in some school of psychology, they treat the depression means as like a chemical, like someone have low level levels of serotonin present in the brain, and then thereby allowing the understand of self-destructive episode due to a neurotransmitter of a chemical nature. And it is correct what they say about there is a organic dysfunction there. There is a medicine out there found that, right? That, like he explained, without a doubt, in this stance of chemical substance, access neurotransmitter control the cerebral activity in charge of the emotional area. And that's caused a lot of the emotional, physical, and many psychic occurrence. But there is more over there. And we know that the spirit, it's the cause, right, of behind the matter and behind that. Imagine if we were submitted to the just to the what happened in the matter on the organic body. No, we are in many, we are like behind the cause, the spirit. And here, again said that, however, they are in turn the effect of other profound factors. The one that originate from the spirit that commands the cerebral chamber, externalizing the mind and the physiology of these micro instruments that constitute the physical headquarters of thought and of other equally important functions of the human. This is what he's saying here is like, the spirit act on the body and the brain. And if the behavior, the behavior, the depression and the behavior is in the spirit to act through the brain, and all the dysfunctions of those chemicals that aggravated the problem of depression and leading to self-destructive behavior, leading to sexual awful behavior is starting to happen. And I think, like, it's in some way we are knowing how powerful we are because we change the matter, we change our body. It's not actually to be scared, it's actually to be grateful how divine laws are perfect and loving, because it gave us the power to change it for good. Because if we still learning and still fighting to overcome our vices, haven't learned yet, but we will learn, we get in a point where we will learn to change that through like prayer, through faith, through our moral evolvement, to change and to eliminate those vices from ourselves, right? What the Spiritists say about suffering, because I think this is one of the most challenging for people to understand why we suffer and why some people are in different situations. And here on the chapter and the gospel according to Spiritist, I think that this part was really, really special, the title, to suffer well or badly, because it's how we see the challenge, right? It's our free will to go through that situation, like well or badly, right? And then it's so hard for the people to, why blessed are the afflicted? Why when we are suffering and then there's blessed? And it's hard, right, for people that still like don't understand spiritual doctrine and and more like spirituality, see this, right? And I think it was a very well explained here, because when we come to life, God gave us an opportunity and to overcome the challenges. And every time that we overcome, we ascend, right? And there is a reward, let's say, like that, for every time we overcome a difficult situation in our life. And it is a learning process. It's a learning, and it's all for the merit is ours. That's why we have the free will. We need to make the effort. And after we master a skill, we feel like we are stronger, right? In a situation when we overcome. And that feeling, it's great. I want to just to talk about adolescent suicide, because especially during the pandemic, there was so much talk about it was a difficult time for kids, of course, in our age, but adolescents, kids in this transition of it's still a kid and going through the more independent and adult life. It's every transition is really difficult, right? Because we have the unknown, we have the you want to be a kid, you afraid of the responsibilities and so much pressure, and they are very vulnerable, right? Because it's already difficult age. So here to Joanna, and this is a great book that every parent should read. And I'm going to read here. Ignore, like she put the message, ignoring the reality of life in both its magnitude and profundity. Adolescents attempt to solve the normal problems pertinent to their growth in the most absurd way, by seeking death, from which they emerge alive and now under the unbearable load of the consequence of their fight from the struggle, which would have otherwise elevated them to a superior stage of knowledge and self-realization. So it's definitely up to parents to pass the information about spiritual values for the kids and the life. It's bigger, like it's bigger than the existence here, enough, and support them, guide them. And I think, and also in this book, Joanna, she writes so well, right? It's just, I read Joanna de Angelis, and it amazes me how well she writes and how concise she is. In this, she explained, right, our evolutional process, right? Human beings are destined to stellar growth. Everyone here is destined to be happy, right? And to succeed. No, God does not want anyone to fail, no punishment or being sad and unhappy, right? But here, they must conquer it through personal effort. Take each step toward lofty heights when they advance and better themselves. So, personal effort. It's no one want to do it for us, because if I want to master a skill when I'm facing an obstacle, I should be the one to learning that. I have help, support, of course. And then he said, every ascension promotes reaction that are compatible with the stage one reaches, which requires a renewal force and increasing resistance in order to gain the eventual angelic success. So every time I accent, sorry, someone asked something? Okay, let's go. So come back. It's again, like it's a very natural process, the evolution process. And like she said, the natural obstacles, they will be present as evaluations, and we attract the ones, right, that we can overcome. Right? But when we fail, right, when she said and did, it's like, I always think like we almost there, right? And then unfortunately some of us giving, right? So it is when someone couldn't overcome that struggle, right? It's like have to start over, right? We're going to talk more about that. And this is something that there's one chapter about the behavior, especially teenagers, but I think this can also, for anyone that's going through this situation, we should watch out for this kind of sign, the way they talk, connected, they wish to be dead, think about suicide or feeling helpless and hopeless, and especially like how to solve the problems, because they're still a kid and they feel a lot of pressure when they have to making sometimes decisions, or they know that life it's presenting them with charge to grow up life adult, right? So all this situation can cause a lot of stress. And then she put here like warning signs that we should pay attention, like someone pulling away from friends, family, don't want to go out, trouble concentrating or thinking clear, changing eating or sleeping habits, major changes in appearance, someone sometimes like to dress well, starting to be kind of not caring much appearance, isolation, wants to be always alone. So that's something that we should always pay attention and help, right? So the consequence of suicide, it's hard, it's difficult, not difficult. This lecture here and the Spiritism, we need to bring the truth, right? The spirits brought us, and we need to, because our mission is to prevent suicide, and then we have commitment to bring what the spirits brought us. And yes, there's nothing that we're going on can be worse than take on your life, any problem, right? Suicide is not a way of physical suffering. It's not going to finish that. The spirit remain bound to the carnal body, which it thought to destroy. Slowly, it suffers from every phase of decomposition, and its painful sensations are multiplied rather than diminished. It's difficult, sometimes the graphic, the visual, but we have many spirits, suicide spirits in the book Heaven and Hell came and explained and gave their how was when after they committed suicide, and it is and they're suffering, right? And then many people may think why that happened is a punishment from God. No, it's just a natural law. The body, when someone commits suicide, it has a lot of vital fluids on them. Because there's not prepared for die. And those fluids are, and the spirit and the perisprit is very attached to the body. So it's a natural law. If I walk away here, I have a balcony. If I walk to my balcony, I will fall and I will hurt myself because the law of gravity, I am subject to the law of gravity like anybody else. So that's the same with this. Everyone is submitted to the law, the natural laws. And this attachment, actually, it's when people in natural death, the spirits came even days before and trying to prepare and detaching those fluids and those attachments with the spirit and the perispirit with the organic body. So when someone destroy their life suddenly, this is still attached as a natural law, and that's why this situation happened, right? So, but of course, there are aggravating and attenuating circumstances in suicide. We don't know for each situation what happened before, and also by how that soul, that spirit will recognize the mistake and pray and forgive himself or herself, and ask for help, right, in the spirit in the world. So the perispirit carry out the damage caused by the suicide act. We have read many spirits that was in one situation where they drink poison, and in the previous life they came with some problems, or all the organs that the way they came themselves that damage, because we know that the perispirit it's a copy, a subtle copy of the organic body, right? And for the next life is going to be really more difficult, of course, because now that perfect body has been damaged, right? And then you will need to heal and reconstruct the perispirit. And yeah, there is some situation where you can take many incarnations to heal. And of course, thinking about the people that they left, how sorrow. For anyone can listen to this lecture now or in the future, if you think about that, stop. Go and read Spiritism, go read the gospel, read the book Heaven and Hell. Don't do it. Give yourself a chance, educate yourself, and you will see that the truth will free you. What happened for the people that already lost a loved one? It's difficult, it's painful, right? But Providence is the superior spirit. It's the angel that watches over the unhappy. It is the unseen comforter whose inspiration warms the heart upon which despair had laid an icy finger. It is the bright beacon whose rays guide the mariner adrift up a turbulent seas. Above all, providence is a divine love, the sublime overflow which neglects none of its offspring. There is a God that will never allow one of the childs that made a mistake when we all made mistakes in the past. Mistakes that for the blessing of to forget, in this incarnation we don't remember. Many of us are working to repair mistakes we've done in the past. So for you that lost someone, pray. Pray and do not think about the moment of the death. Do not think about your loved one in that moment. Send energy, positive energy, energy of encouragement, but that spirit can forgive himself or herself and sincerely ask God to give another chance. There are spirits, there are angels around that spirit just waiting for that moment to help again and to give a new beginning, and all those spirits will be helped. Pray, and again, think, send thoughts of encouragement, send thoughts of love, that spirit can again restart in another incarnation, the educational process. We definitely work in Spiritism prevent a lot of the materialistic idea and the death by suicide, because we understand that we are here in a process of evolution, and get all those that will be able to deal successfully must forth encounter through the physical existence, and that calm and resignation, right? That we have that faith, and that we have the confidence that that difficult moment will pass away, and that you're not alone. You have all the help that need. You always have spirits, and even God sent incarnated spirit to help you to overcome those struggles. So there's so much we can do out there. We can do to make ourselves happy. We can help the ones are going through, and there is a lot of ways to heal and to give support for the ones are there going through this now, and or the ones out that lost someone. And above everything, trust the love of God. You are love, and God will send people to help you, and you just have to give yourself a chance. One more time, don't finish your life, because that's the most gift that we as humans can have, right? So I will see if this video, let me see, it's gonna, it's a small, very short video, but I think it was very cute. I think it was made for like a volunteer. Yeah? And let me see, I hope. And okay, are you guys listening? Which is too loud for me.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. That's really cute.